The Post reporting that the Wagner Group's owner, Yevgeny Prigozhin, conveyed that proposal to his contacts in Ukraine's military intelligence, according to secret U.S. intelligence documents leaked on the group chat platform Discord. Now, NBC News has not confirmed this reporting, but joining me now is Shane Harris, the national security correspondent for The Washington Post, and he co-wrote that story. So, Shane, Reuters also reporting today that both the Wagner chief and Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov are calling your story, quote, a hoax. What is your response?
Well, our story is based on classified U.S. intelligence documents, so I think their critique is probably more directed at that. But what we're reporting on is showing that these extensive communications that the Wagner Group chief Prigozhin has had with Ukraine are both known to U.S. intelligence, and we independently confirm them with Ukrainian sources. So those contacts, we're confident, are real. They're perhaps not terribly surprising. Notably, Mr. Prigozhin did not address whether or not the central claim of these documents was true, which was that he offered to give up Russian troop locations in exchange for a pullback of Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut, where his forces, of course, are taking casualties by the thousands and have for some time.
And, you know, the Wagner Group chief, he's been feuding with Russia's military commanders for a bit now, specifically about allegedly failing to provide his forces with enough ammunition and other equipment. But how is what's reported in these leaks going to play with the Russian President Putin?
That's not entirely clear, and there are some officials we talked to who cautioned that, you know, Prigozhin may be playing even sort of a head game here with the Ukrainians, who seem to believe that Putin might actually know that he is in contact with them. But I think it's reasonable to presume that if Putin did not know that Prigozhin was making an offer, an extraordinary offer like this to essentially swap his troops for Russian troops, he would not be pleased about that. And of course, Prigozhin, as you say, has publicly feuded with the Ministry of Defense over the support they've given him, but he is a close Kremlin ally and a close ally of Putin. You know, people famously know him as Putin's chef because he owns a series of catering companies that do service for the Kremlin. So this is a pretty extraordinary claim, and again, it's not one that he has directly addressed to refute, other than to say all of the reporting is fake. But the reporting, of course, is coming from U.S. intelligence communications intercepts.
Yeah, not too many trustworthy actors involved in these in this back and forth. What else did your team learn from these documents?
Well, what I think is so extraordinary is that the U.S. government really does have a pretty keen understanding of a lot of what's going on inside the Russian military apparatus. They've clearly been able to penetrate a lot of Russian communications, and they are monitoring Ukrainian communications as well. It seems that from these documents, the way that the U.S. government found out about these contacts between Prigozhin and the Ukrainians, what he was saying, was by monitoring the Ukrainian end of that conversation, although there are indications that they can see the Wagner Group end of it too. So it's a pretty remarkable window into just how deeply the U.S. has penetrated some of these communications, which really provides a rich understanding of what they know about the war in Ukraine and how it's playing out.
All right. Excellent reporting from you and your team. Shane Harris, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.